Picking up where we left off on our last historical video, we're heading north along Old Route 53 again today. I'm actually heading up here to the next town up from the village we was in the last video to meet up with a friend of mine for coffee. And we're going to be filming the 5th episode of Secret Life today, so this all works out where we could do the historical video for this channel, meet up for coffee and hang out for a little bit, and then get another episode of Secret Life all filmed in the same trip. So the next town that we're heading up to used to be Fort Ball back in the day, whenever this was still a trail, and it was like a military depot. We're going to be talking about one of the events that happened as the town started developing around Fort Ball once we get up here. So once again, you try to imagine this whenever it was all plank road, or even before that, just a walking trail basically. The wagons would come up to the inn, they would stop at the inn for a rest, and then they would make this second leg of the journey either that evening or the following day if whoever was taking the stagecoach wanted to rest there for the night. And then once you get on this second leg of the journey, just like any other place around here, there's a pretty good stretch between one place and the next with a whole lot of nothing in between. And we finally made it. Speak of the devil, getting ready to head down to the coffee shop where Tracy and I meet at all the time, and she just now texted me wanting to know where I was at. Finally made it up here. Oh, my notifications keep going off. That's crazy. We're going to try to park over here on the side street. Yep. This Lou. My friend texted me and said that she was wrapping up what she was doing and then she's on her way. I'm gonna meet up with her for coffee. We'll have our coffee and then we'll get right to the historical video. I should probably have edited this part out, but I wanted to keep these kind of organic and have this authenticity of filming to it, and this is what it is. We came up here to film the historical video for this channel, and this will be the last of the historical videos because I had to start focusing more of my time and energy on the next channel, Secret Life of Roses, which is going to premiere in like 2 weeks. So a lot of that's filmed in the same town. So we're doing this trip up the river and up through time. We started off with Colonel Crawford getting burned at the stake. After that, we went up the river and up through time a little bit to a stagecoach inn that operated in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, and then we move up the river a little bit more to the town where Secret Life is being filmed in. We're filming an episode today, and we have some history of this area to talk about too. So the past 3 videos, this little historical video of trilogy going up the river, just led us to the town where the next channel is going to be launched, and we timed it out to where it leads us up to the launch of the new channel and the whole new story arc that's going to be taking place for the 3-channel saga. It's a lot of work, and it's kind of complicated, and for those of you who have stuck with me through the history of this channel, which is coming up on its 8-year anniversary, and sort of sussed all this out over the years, man, I appreciate your devotion to trying to figure out my life story, because it's a complicated book, let me tell you. But we're finally here now. We're finally getting ready to launch the new channel. We're only like 2 weeks away from the premiere episode. We're going to be right here in the city talking about history, and we're going to be going into the coffee shop and hanging out with Tracy, and she's going to be on some of the adventures with us. We're going to be treasure hunting in the area. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. We're also going to be going back to the Emerald Forest to rebuild the cottage. We'll do that on this channel, a live stream series on this channel, but some of that footage gets transferred over to the other channel, so you sort of have this bridge between the two. It's kind of like a crossover between the Huntsman and Secret Life. There's a lot of things that's going to happen over the course of the next couple of years. Anyway, there's just a little extra chat while I'm sitting here waiting on my friend. We're going to go get our coffee, and then I'll pick up the video. We're going to get right into the historical part of this town, which leads us into the new channel launching in 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys in a few. The founding of the city of Tiffin dates back to Fort Ball, a military depot during the War of 1812. Aristus Bowie, having been engaged in the war, returned to the site in 1817 and built a Pan Yan Tavern. He was the first European-American settler in Seneca County. The settlement of Oakley sprang up around the fort and the tavern. In 1820, another of those former Fort Ball soldiers, General James Hedges, returned to the area and brought along his younger brother Josiah. James and Josiah Hedges were the partners who owned a store in Mansfield and were successful businessmen. James was impressed with this area because the land was fertile and there was a good river that could provide water for mills. He suggested that this was a great opportunity for Josiah and that he should consider buying the land and starting a town here. Josiah agreed, and in 1821 he entered the land office in Delaware and purchased the land where Tiffin would plant its roots. The town was named Tiffin in honor of Edward Tiffin, Ohio's first governor and later a member of the United States Senate, who was a particular friend of Josiah. Though bearing his name, Edward Tiffin never visited the town before his death in 1829. Following the founding, Josiah had granted land to other people to move their families to Tiffin. For more than 3 decades, Josiah pushed this town forward by building sawmills, grist mills, built roads, the first courthouse, the first school, provided a public cemetery, gave land to churches, brought in the railroad, and so much more. In early 1822, the legislature for the state of Ohio had appointed 3 state commissioners, Thomas Henford, Isaac Minor, and Cyrus Spink. On March 25, 1822, they established Tiffin as the permanent seat of the Justice for Seneca County, and then in 1824, with the establishment of Seneca County by the Ohio legislature, Tiffin became the county seat. Tiffin was incorporated by an act of Ohio legislature on March 7, 1835. Although they were rivals for many years, separated only by the river, the communities of Tiffin and Fort Ball were merged to form Tiffin in March of 1850. The Great Flood of 1913 devastated Tiffin, Ohio, killing 19 people, destroying 5 bridges, and damaging many homes and businesses. The flood was caused by heavy rains and hurricane-force winds that lasted from March 23rd to March 27th, 1913. Although most of the rivers tended to flood every spring, the flooding of March 1913 was unprecedented across much of the Ohio Valley.
The amount of runoff from the late March rains resulted in as much runoff as in normal for 6 months period. The impact of this runoff was rivers rising to unprecedented stages, several feet above previous high water marks. Heavy rain fell over the watersheds in Indiana, Ohio, parts of Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and New York from this event, but the damage was most significant along the Great Miami River in Dayton, where flood levees broke, leading water to rising up 20 feet downtown. Here, the Sandusky River overflowed to its highest level in recorded history, flooding Washington Street. The flood toppled bridges, cut communication lines, and broke through the levees. Many homes, barns, businesses were destroyed or damaged, resulting in millions of dollars in damage. The flood was the deadliest in the country's history, second only to the Johnstown flood of 1889. Tiffin's devastating 1913 flood left 19 dead and 500 homeless. 65 years after the Great Flood would come the blizzard in 1978, which also had a devastating impact on the city. It was during this storm that I would be born, right in the heart of it all.
Well, that's pretty much going to end it for our historical tour video. We started all the way down on the south of the river in the 1800s, and we made it all the way up here to 1913. So I got to start focusing on the new channel and filming the content for that. On this channel, we will be getting back out into the woods a couple of times, maybe even get some campfire live streams in. So there will be some more content coming out on this channel, but not for a couple of weeks probably, because focusing on the new series. So the new series kicks off March 20th. The series premiere will launch as a premiere on YouTube. And again, we're starting off with a whole new algorithm and a whole new story, a whole new field. So I hope everybody that joined this channel for the outdoors content will follow us along over there on the Secret Life of Roses channel. You can get a link down in the description below. New content rolling out there, and we'll get some new outdoors content up on this channel as soon as possible. Thank you guys for coming with me on this historical tour down the old plank road and up the river and up through time. It's been a lot of fun, and it turned out to be a beautiful day to be out filming it too. This is a perfect spring day to be out and about, just wandering around town, looking at the history, seeing some of the historical markers, having coffee with one of my best friends. It turned out to be a really good day. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you as soon as possible.
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?